Go. Hi guys, Alexi here with another Marketing Evolution podcast webinar series. Today I have Michael Dransfield from Burgundy Bespoke Jewelers. Hey Michael, how you going?
Hi Alexi, how are you?
Good
Morning.
mate, good. Thanks for finding the time to jump on a call. I know you're very busy and yeah, you've got quite an interesting business. So mate, how do you even start a business like that? Tell me about the whole journey. How'd you get into jewelry?
Oh, well, my jewellery journey started, I'm in my 45th year, been in the jewellery trade at the moment.
Wow.
So from 16, I went to the jewellery trade in the UK, in Leeds, where I'm from, and I worked in manufacturing for 29 years. So in 2004, that's when we started our own business in the UK, in Leeds. And we were sort of, I guess, not pushed or forced, but the jewellery trade and manufacturing was changing in the UK, like lots of other industries. And we decided to start our own business, I guess, before eventually we could have lost our jobs. So we started our business in Leeds. The business model was not like a traditional retailer. We wanted to help and create pieces of jewellery that the clients wanted. So we weren't trying to sell them anything. We were trying to help them create a piece of jewellery that they wanted. So yeah, we started our own business in 2004, and that was a journey going from Friday afternoon working in a workshop to Monday morning already sort of owning your own business, and never run a business before, never spoken to a client before. That business became a great success and still is now in the UK, really doing well.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I find that, specifically business owners who have the experience of the actual trade themselves are probably the best one at actually communicating that through, because a lot of people talk of sales processes. They talk about, how to fine tune your sales process to win more customers. But I find that if you know what you're talking about, if you know your trade, that just becomes a natural conversation with a customer without really having to sell as such.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we, as I said, Tim and I came from that workshop background. I think because of our knowledge and skill and our passion for what we were doing, we just love it. And I still love it today, being part of the jewellery trade.
Yeah.
I think that came across, and we were just ourselves. We connected with people. We felt we were relatable, and yeah, that business grew from. And I would say, and I've spoke to you about this before. We tracked where all our business came from, every 3 months. And after the first few years, by far, the website, word of mouth, brought our business. The website, I guess people put into Google or whatever they use to look for the type of jewelers we were. And we came up there. We ranked really well. And word of mouth, for me, still the best advertising in the world. Somebody goes out with that new ring on the finger. People ask where they've got it from. Yeah.
Yeah, the product really sells itself. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. It just grew from there, and we surrounded ourselves with people who could help us get to where we want to be. People who were specialists like yourself in your area. We were good at what we did. We needed people, and that's how it grew.
So I guess your business model has changed, at the absolute start from going to a workshop then towards bringing your business into a smaller environment, and in this particular way, cutting a lot of the expenses out of the business.
Absolutely.
As well.
Yeah, we did have a premises. We had workshop areas. We had a reception room where we just saw our clients on a one-to-one basis, and we worked the business from there. We just saw our clients just on a one-to-one basis, really good. So we didn't really have to have staff in a showroom environment. We didn't carry stock. We made silver and CZ replicas of pieces that we'd already made. I guess as a portfolio and as a talking point, because this was back before the onset of computer-aided design. We'd sit there and sketch with a pencil and paper in clients and create a replica for them to look at. And so took that process further where we then finished.
Great. So I guess your business has become a lot more personal. You're dealing with the customer directly as opposed to being around the counter or basically rather than being a brand, it's the person that people are dealing with. I really like that concept. So when you meet people, and obviously you work with a lot of different couples, and I guess the couples are very different as well. What specific problems do you help them solve? And look, this might sound like a simple question for you, but from my perspective and perspective of marketing, I think that's a really important question. So what problems do you solve for people?
A couple of examples. I mean, let's take one example. I work with lots of guys who are looking to get engaged. Sometimes they don't know, or they're not sure about what style, type of engagement they like. That's changing slightly nowadays, where with lots of ladies giving a hint with images from Google, Pinterest, and things like that. But if they're not sure, one thing that we've done lots of times over the years is create a silver and CZ replica piece they think they may like. They can then propose with that. So it's taken the pressure off the guy or the girl not spending the money on a piece of jewellery that their partner particularly doesn't like or wouldn't choose. They have a ring to propose with, and then they've shown consideration to that partner. Then they can bring them back, meet myself, we can then design a piece of jewellery that they've always wanted. So I think that's a fantastic option. One other sort of thing I get and had over the years is I get people come to see me, and they've been out in the retail world, and they've had lots of information given to them about this and that, and sometimes gets a bit confusing for them. So one thing that I like to think that we do is, as I've touched on before, we're not trying to sell people a piece of jewellery we have. Lots of retailers have stock. We're trying to help them create that piece. So I like to think that people can feel comfortable, come in and see us. We're going to help them get what they want. Again, low overheads. We don't carry stock. We've got low overheads. We generally pass that on to our clients and help them maximize jewelry. And the great other one for me as well is the business model, especially now I've adapted it over the last couple of years. We come to you, we can meet over coffee, your favourite coffee shop, we can meet at the office during the day, we can meet home if you want to come around to your home. And that's great, again, touching on the people who want to do a secret proposal. Let's face it, lots of people now live together. So where do you sneak off? Down to to meet a jeweler and things like that. So I've met people before work, at lunchtime, and after work, and it's just that convenience now. And I think that's something that's really changed over in retail. People want that convenience now, and I just love doing that. I love meeting people and doing all that secret proposals.
Yeah.
Look, really enjoy that.
I think helping people get that custom piece of jewelry is a very personal it's a very personal process, and overall you want this piece of jewelry to be there for the entire lifetime. So it's a big decision, and I personally find it very pressuring to walk into a jewelry store when looking for something, because you've got the salespeople like vultures coming at you, and if you're not sure what you're looking for, like, you understand this person's trying to pull a sales process, but really you just want to understand what's out there, what the value is and what the costs are. And there's so many things about the clarity of the diamond, the shape of the diamond. I guess this whole thing is obviously it's something you do all day every day, but to someone who's looking to potentially propose and stuff, this is science that they're going to learn real fast. And if there's a bit of a sales process involved in the whole thing when they walk into a shop, it's just a lot of pressure. So mate, I think what you're doing is really good, and I think it all really makes the process a lot easier for people. What I also like about your business, and you haven't mentioned so far, but I know it because we obviously looked at your website and done a few things in terms of research, is that you work with other businesses in order to help streamline the entire process. Do you want to just talk about that? I guess the photographers and all the other services that complement the entire proposal process.
Yeah, one thing that I've always been passionate about, and especially we were in the UK, and I've brought that here to Australia now, is working with and using Australian suppliers. The more local, the better. My diamond dealer's based in Brisbane. My coloured stone dealer's based in Brisbane. I like to collaborate as well with other businesses who can work with me in the field that I'm operating. Photography. We're offering the proposal photography. Somebody else who I'm working with as well does creates picnics where you could propose at a picnic, things like that. So I'm always looking to collaborate with people who are, that I can recommend to my clients. Whether it be somebody who's financial broker, if they want to create a loan to buy a piece of jewelry, if they're looking to get a mortgage and purchase a house. I just like to think I've got people around me who I know, like, and trust. I can pass on to my clients and hopefully help them out in life. Yeah, that's one thing I'm really passionate about is working and having jewelry designed and made in Australia. People think sometimes that, you mention these words bespoke or custom, it's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Well, in fact, quite opposite. You're getting great value for money, and I would encourage anybody to go to a local, good, independent jeweler, have a piece of jewelry. What have you got to lose? Check it out, go in, speak to the guys who know, who've got the knowledge, and listen to them. I think I would recommend that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think this way you're able to not only help your local market, but then you're helping the customer solve more than one problem. Potentially, you've got all these other businesses that are complementing the entire process. That's excellent. Now let's talk about this whole coronavirus situation and how your business is evolving, because this is the hot topic, and I guess a lot of people are asking us, a lot of questions, and this is probably why a lot of listeners to this specific podcast would want to listen and learn about what the processes are and how things are changing. So fundamentally, we've got obviously advertising, bringing in leads, then there is a sales consultations, then there is the actual purchase, and then the delivery of the whole process. And more or less, most businesses work in a very similar process. How has all this situation affected your business, and what are you doing right now in order to move forward?
Yeah, I'll say we've touched on before this. My business model is different to you, so I don't have that premises. So yeah, I can still meet people on a one-to-one basis. But one thing that's, I guess, that's brought to the front more is what we're doing now and using Zoom. I can still have a design consultation with somebody over Zoom. I can share my screen with them. I've got designer software on there. We can look at different designs of rings. We can work together on that design. So we've still got that connection. It's something that, as I just said, I wanted to build this business in and around Brisbane. Also, I always wanted to take it further, say, down to Sydney or Melbourne. Now, this Zoom now, I can actually do a consultation with somebody at a distance. They can find out if they like me, what I'm doing, what they want, and sort of get to know each other before we meet. So that's great. I mean, yeah, it has changed lots of businesses. I guess one thing for me, just touched on last few weeks, is maybe customer confidence, spending money. I guess that's changed, but I think this, to me, it's awful what's happened. It's flipping all our lives. Some people, it's a bigger blip, but we will come out. And I think it's just showing us how business has changed and can change. The potential for me now to use something like Zoom, fantastic.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole idea of online consultation really expands your marketing. You're absolutely right. The geographics of the whole thing no longer apply. I mean, if you're able to replicate your sales process based around values, which is all about getting that right piece of jewelry at the right price, or value for money, as you like to say. I think there's a lot of people in Sydney, Melbourne, or even remote towns that would like that, because especially with smaller towns around Australia, a lot of them don't really have a lot of options. I mean, you may not have a lot of jewelers in places like Townsville or Toowoomba, or even Newcastle, for example. But I know that each one of those places has got its own specific economy, mate. So absolutely, it'd be interesting to see what the future brings. But I can certainly see how the online consultation allow you to conduct the whole process in a shorter period of time. They require less traveling and everything else, and also be able to go to a wider market that fits the same demographic, mate. That's excellent. Yeah.
Yep. Brought
cool.
A different way of thinking, I guess, for some people. You've got to adapt or die. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's the whole thing. I guess right now businesses with big overheads are really, really struggling because the cash flow has stopped, the decision-making process has stopped. But if you look at the market's still there. People are still making decisions to, invest in things and buy things and propose, and that still goes on, So I think businesses with the right decisions and the right processes to meet that market will come out on top. And I think your business is definitely heading in the right direction.
Yep, we'll get there.
No worries, Michael. Well, look, mate, is there, if the customers, want to find out more about your business or get in contact with you, what's the best way to do it?
I think the best way probably is check out our website, burgundybespokejewellers.com. .au. That's a lot more information on there about ourselves. There's also an option there where you can book a consultation with me. So I think probably that's the best way to get in touch and find out more about myself and Burgundy Bespoke Jewellers.
Okay, and that consultation is free, I imagine?
Absolutely, yep. Absolutely, yep.
Okay, cool. Well, look, I guess it'd be interesting to see what the future brings. But mate, I certainly appreciate the time for you to jump on this call and talk about the evolution of your business. I think there's a lot of people who may learn a lot from that. Thanks very much for your time.
Oh, thank you, Alexi, and thank you for all your help.
Thanks, mate.